People who were here in 1927, 35 years ago, when they had that great parade for Colonel Lindbergh. And they tell me that it was nothing like this. They've got more people, more ticket.
A shower of glory for a new American hero.
Happen in this program, we're not.
And after the last hurrah, a nation's right to know the full account.
We have 3 examples here to prove it.
Can I roll that tape in this? No, let's just stay right with it, Bobby. Stay with it.
He's recording.
All right, ready to go to Cronkite. Vic, you ready, Sam?
Stand by, Walter. Okay, you're on.
Weather good, astronauts in good shape, tracking systems around the world.
Tell Cronkite to back off. Let Powers take it from here on in.
Astronaut Gordon Cooper, the man that will be at the controls of the spacecraft in the U.S. 6th attempt at manned spaceflight, was awakened this morning at 2:50 a.m.
What you're about to see is a demonstration in action of an open society and a free press. To the legion of men who photographed it, the story of Project Mercury was told in the realm of the frozen image. The story began in Washington at a press conference in 1959. It was a Jules Verne kind of a story that became a national go, front-page news. A focus for our scientific and creative energy. The Cape became one of the prized datelines in journalism.
Signifying the capsule number. On the concrete square itself, the pad of
downrange from the Cape, south of Bermuda, the recovery forces stood ready.
Which is one ingredient of the fuel. Most of the preliminary work has been done here by now. We await the arrival of astronaut Shepard.
Radio and television carried the event as it happened.
This is Freedom 7. The fuel is go 1.2 G. Cabin at 14 psi. Oxygen is go.
For depth and interpretation, there was the printed page. We had time to pause, to wonder at this new age. What would it bring? An astronaut and a president with a wonderfully warm and ready wit.
Therefore, I want to again express my congratulations to Alan Shepard. We're very proud of him, and I speak on behalf of the Vice President, who is chairman of our Space Council and who bears great responsibilities in this field, the members of the House and Senate Space Committee who are with us today, and this decoration, which has gone from the ground up here.
Astronaut Gus Grissom was successfully launched today at 7:20 a.m.
Helicopter with the astronaut aboard, and we're seeing it in the cockpit. You'll hear it as it lands on the deck here. You'll hear the sound of its rotors and its head came down. He doesn't look very well. He has his helmet on. The doctors are immediately treating him.
After welcome on deck, a personal message.
Really proud of you, and
I must say, you did a wonderful job.
Later, Grissom's report to the press.
You probably already heard, getting the capstan out of the water, he couldn't lift it. He ran into an engine problem, or at least what they think now is an engine problem, and couldn't lift it free. There were 3 helicopters there. I guess actually there were 4. I don't remember seeing 3. And I was sort of in the center of all 3 of them and couldn't get to any of them. Marine chopper pilot did get in close enough for me to get hold of the sling, and then everything was pretty good with me from then on. They picked me right on up and brought me onto the Randolph.
Di Cape Canaveral ini terdapat perasaan menunggu-nunggu.
The world prayed with the litany of the countdown.
30 seconds and holding. We have encountered some difficulty in
But John Glenn was not to orbit this day.
guidance equipment for the Atlas launch vehicle. We are not able at this time to get a specific identification on what the problem is. We know simply that we do have some problems over there. This is Mercury Control.
Once more, the countdown is underway at Cape Canaveral. Even at this hour, clusters of people are stopping to check the latest report.
And once more, the world waited.
We have just completed a status check in the Mercury Control Center. We've been advised that at this time, all systems are go.
Accompanied by Dr. Douglas and another Air Force doctor, they walked over to the van, which would take them out to pad 16.
At 4:25, he began crawling into his spacesuit.
Wynn says he is the last man to shake hands with the astronauts and to smile at the monkeys.
Now, around the world, all Mercury stations reported go.
Let's go now to Ed Williams at the press site. Over 500 newsmen here on the scene today to cover this.
Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway.
Anyone, all their eyes were focused on the rocket. They were excited. They've been here many weeks waiting for this because of the delays, but when it came, it was exactly as everyone had planned. It was an exciting thing to watch, and this is the way they told them. They're reporting it right now. Special equipment has been installed here at the press site for them to tell their story to the world, to their own newspapers, and for some radio stations from Latin America that are here.
He is reported to be a hale and hearty astronaut after having successfully flown the United States' first manned orbital flight. U.S. astronaut John Glenn is on the deck, is reported to be a hale and hearty astronaut after his history-making flight.
Ray Scherer at the White House on this wet and chilly day in February. We haven't produced very hospitable weather for our hero, John Glenn, today. But the crowds are here. They've been waiting 2 hours now. The rain was much worse an hour ago when he arrived. There he is now on the North Portico, getting ready to ride to the Capitol with Vice President Johnson. That's the son, the daughter, Annie Glenn's in red. Vice President Johnson will ride with him.
That's not John Glenn. It's just around the corner, heading down Pennsylvania Avenue here, and everywhere the crowd is still cheering. His bald head can be seen just coming into view. He's heading towards the big inverted V, with the sign, Welcome John H. Glenn Jr. Everywhere Bedlam is breaking loose down here. People are waiting, trying to see everywhere sign, John Glenn, America is proud of you. Welcome, John. High time.
Today, I know that I seem to be standing alone on this great platform, just as I seem to be alone in the cockpit of the Friendship 7 spacecraft. But I'm not. There were with me then and with me now thousands of Americans and many hundreds of citizens of many countries around the world who contributed to this truly international undertaking voluntarily and in a spirit of cooperation and understanding. On behalf of all those people, I would like to express my and their heartfelt thanks for the honors you have bestowed upon us here today. We are all proud to have been privileged to be part of this effort, to represent our country as we have. As our knowledge of this universe in which we live increases, may God grant us the wisdom and guidance to use it wisely. Thank you, friends.
Loud and clear, Jose. Don't cry too much.
Okie doke.
Everything went well. And then a cliffhanger. The capsule overshot the expected landing area. Communication failed. For 35 minutes, there was no word.
Well, we've just received a happy word here aboard the USS Intrepid that one of the ship's own jet helicopters, HSS-2s that is, has just effected rescue of astronaut Scott Carpenter and is now proceeding toward the Intrepid.
After a post-flight examination, astronaut Scott Carpenter returns to the Cape, to his family, to the joys and cares of the earthbound. Even a daughter's skinned elbow.
Right now, the gantry is being pulled back from the bird, and the big silver Atlas rocket will be standing right in front of us, about 1 mile in front of our Mutual Canaveral Operations Center. The gantry is slowly moving away now.
Newsmen from all over the world have gathered here today to cover this, the 5th U.S. manned space flight, the 3rd orbital flight.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Lift off.
Standard Time. Astronaut Walter Schirra is now in his space capsule high above the Earth. The engines fired right on schedule. That bird took off just as beautifully as any flight you'd ever want to see.
Report says fuel okay. Oxygen okay.
Within minutes, story and pictures were transmitted by the wire services. They appeared on page 1 of the daily newspapers of the world.
Loneliness in space. Wally Schirra might have some feelings along that line if he weren't so busy now in his Sigma 7 capsule. So right now he's powered down on the 4th orbit, that is drifting flight, out of communication with Earth.
One of the important tests of this particular 6-orbital flight will be the photographing of cloud covers and some of the land areas of the Earth.
I haven't even looked outside.
The helicopters are now directly over the spacecraft. One that is hovering and taking photographs. Practically can take them from this close. Commander Walter Schirra, the United States 5th astronaut, standing now in the window section and looking down, now looking at the top of his capsule.
This is the Mercury News Center, the contact point for newsmen. Staffed around the clock by NASA information officers.
They get one.
That's Mercury News Center. The log transcript.
Here, questions are answered, interviews are arranged, news briefings, press conferences take place.
Astronaut Cooper, 22 orbit mission, will take him over more than 100 countries, islands, and possessions.
All right, we'll
In order to cover every phase of Project Mercury, the press, wire services, TV, and radio networks pool their resources and personnel.
America's sixth man to venture into space, Gordon Cooper, has just left Hangar S. He's smiling at the crowd of technicians that has gathered. He looks extremely confident about today's flight.
This is Ed Williams at the press side. It's a beehive of activity this morning as the big gantry was just pulled back. The thousands of reporters and hundreds of reporters here on the press side are getting ready to report.
All systems are A-OK, and Gordo himself is reported as very up for the flight. To give you an idea of how Mercury Control looks at it, here's a report just received from them.
The press site, about 5,000 feet from the launch area. Here, newsmen, photographers, feature and technical writers are witness to success or possible failure.
Reporters and newsmen from all over the world. Approximately how many foreign countries are represented today?
We have about 25 countries represented here, including a NATO group, which just came in this morning.
Mercury
And
Control.
as the last agonizing minutes of the countdown march by, television brings the nation to the scene and drops them right in the middle of it.
Yeah. All right, it's down. You got it down. All right. All right. Hello, New York. Go ahead. Hi, Don. Just a minute, I'll ask you. Bob, how much longer do you want to hold on this? Stay with it for another couple seconds, Davey.
Okay, we'll be with it another couple of seconds, then we'll take off.
It's T-minus 40 seconds now and counting. All systems go.
Videotape, come in. We want all of this. Hold on to it. We'll log it later.
Stay with the pool. Here she goes. Stand by, Waller. Here she goes.
But it's not going to be long. Videotape, keep going.
All right, and the tell-off is up, and the announcer's on, and we're on. All right, cue him, Sandy.
At this point, the capsule and the booster are on what's called automatic sequencing.
This is Mercury Control. We have a momentary hold at T-minus 19 seconds.
That's not an unexpected hold. It shall be picked up almost immediately.
T-minus 15 seconds and counting. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.
All right, there it goes.
Beautiful takeoff. He should be getting vibration now. And now the pitch over.
This is Mercury Control. The trajectory looks very good at this time.
The Atlas pitching from straight ascent to trajectory.
40 seconds into the flight.
If he's going like earlier flights, the vibration's growing for Cooper now. He's just about reaching max Q. That's maximum vibration, maximum dynamic pressure.
We're now 55 seconds into the flight. The trajectory looks okay at this time.
At maximum
Astronaut
dynamic
Cooper
pressure.
reports his oxygen supply, his fuel supply, and all onboard systems are go.
Oh, it looks like a beautiful takeoff again from Canaveral.
Radio keeps us right with the story as Cooper races around our planet.
Presents the flight of Space 7, the 22-orbit mission of astronaut Gordon Cooper.
What a view. Boy, oh boy.
And now the presses of the world roll the story. Newspapers, magazines report in depth. Millions would read and savor the news of this day. a free and open society in action.
Good morning, everyone. This is Charles Hughes, ABC New York, with the latest news.
By radio, we were with Cooper most of the night, and we awoke early to see how his night went. It was like a grand, continued story in 2 parts with 18 chapters.
You'd relay to the Cape the situation I had happen, see what they think on it. Now, the action that I have taken is to turn off my 05G switch fuse and my emergency 05G switch fuse.
The atmosphere here in the Mercury Control Center is hushed, as everyone listens very carefully to make sure that the instructions get delivered and that astronaut Gordon Cooper understands them.
Now, a short while ago, Ken Klanick, flight manager for Project Mercury, and D. Brainerd Holmes, director of the NASA Space Agency, held a briefing for newsmen at Cape Canaveral. Moments ago, we learned of the first problem to develop in the flight. It came to light during the pass over Hawaii.
John Chancellor here, Mercury Control on the air. Let's go right away.
This time, that the inverters, which supply electrical power to his attitude control system, that is the automatic attitude control system, are both inoperative, both the primary and the alternate. And this means that he will have to perform the entire retro-rocket firing and re-entry operation on either fly-by-wire or on manual proportional control.
Aboard the USS Kearsarge, estimate the parachute with Phase 7 hanging from it to be 3 to 4 miles away. USS Kearsarge, the spacecraft is on the water, as Kearsarge now estimates 700 yards from the spacecraft. 700 yards.
700 yards? I'll be damned.
The helicopters are circling. The swimmers, that is the underwater swimmers, are going into the water. They will have what we call the Stuhlken collar, that is that big yellow rubber ring around the base of the spacecraft.
And the news coverage continues as a man is reunited with his wife and daughters. And the 50th state shows its appreciation the way it knows how.
Herbert Kaplow again at Patrick Air Force Base, where the big Air Force jet carrying Gordon Cooper is slowing to a stop on the taxi ramp. The eyes straining to catch a glimpse of the astronaut who went 22 orbits.
Hundreds of people gathered behind ropes, newsmen, photographers, waiting for the moment when Gordon and his wife stepped down the ramp. Here they come. Major and Mrs. Gordon Cooper, followed by their daughters. Of the ramp by the Air Force commander and other dignitaries, all as people strain to catch these moments. The astronaut himself all smiles as he goes aboard the rear seat of a convertible for the inevitable ride and acclaim, in this instance, the people of Cocoa Beach.
I think that those of you that know me know that I've always spoken honestly and straightforward to you. I intend to do so today. I'll run through the flight plan very briefly, factually, and when we get to questions, I will honestly try and answer any questions you have to ask. If I can't answer them, if I don't answer them, it's because I don't know the answer or we don't have the data yet to fully answer them. And they will be answered at a later date. That I was not real overly tired. I was warm from the re-entry and having been on the water for a short period of time. But I might add, not any warmer than I am right now. And I think at this point I'll lay it open to questions.
This flight of yours is almost a routine ride. Were you at all impressed with this mission? And at any time, were you at all concerned for your personal safety?
Well, I waited quite a long while for this flight, and I was very impressed with it. I think anybody that goes up on a space flight and says they aren't impressed, there must be something wrong with them. I named my spacecraft Faith 7 for 3 reasons. One, because of a belief in God and country. 2, because of a loyalty to organizations, to the 2 organizations actually, which I belong. And 3, because of a confidence in the entire space team.
Deke, is it thought that one of these gentlemen sitting with you will be making the first Gemini flight, or do you think one of the original 7 will make that first Gemini flight?
There will be other launches and other press conferences. When they happen, they will be fully reported. Even now, the gantries of Gemini stand ready. When men once again ride an American spacecraft into orbit, at the mercy of God and thousands of technicians, the world once more will be there.